Hello there. So tomorrow is the 20th of January, 2025, and a very important chapter is being written by everyone helping to write the novel, and that is the chapter where Stormfire signs the decree so that he may receive the golden banana trophy and access the keys to the White Castle. That is tomorrow. So I would like to speak about that chapter that's being written in the novel. Before I do that, there's just a couple of other aspects of the novel I'd like to discuss. So in the novel, the narration has been very much recently about different elements, earth, air, fire, and water. So let's look at two of those elements, fire and air. So fire may manifest in anything that is to do with transformation, plasma, heat. And as we know, dragons fly above the village in a fantasy fiction novel, and their dragon's breath can be fire if they are a fire dragon. So recently I made a post on social media, so I'm just going to quickly read that to you about the fire-breathing dragon. Somebody asked me, Magenta, can you talk about the orange flame dragon breathing his dragon's breath across the skies in the domain we are all watching? Okay, so before I talk about that domain, I did have a dream prior to Christmas. I did talk about this in one of the videos where I was taken to two different locations. I was wearing a long cream robe with flowers in my hair, and I was with several other women, and we were all healers and grid workers. We were taken to two locations. One of those locations was Palm Beach, Florida. The other location was somewhere in California. I wasn't completely sure, but we were walking in a circle around and around and around, chanting. And I was told that it's very important that healing and alignment of the grids were to take place there, and that my group was one of several that were doing this grid work or healing in some way. And I had the song Santa Monica Boulevard playing in my head in that location. So I assumed that that location was Santa Monica. So that is somewhat related. Well, it is related to the fire-breathing dragon. So this was my reply to the question about talking about this orange flame dragon breathing his dragon's breath across the skies in the domain we are all watching, which I feel is connected to that dream where I did this healing ritual, the grid work, and woke up with Santa Monica Boulevard song in my head. So this was my reply. The dragon, since times of old, has given birth to her clutches of eggs, most naturally. Yet the orange flame dragon who breathes as she flies today was assisted by the dragonkind midwife who induced such egg laying with the chemicals to bring on contractions, resulting in more intense dragon's breath, a faster flight for the dragon, and a much higher number of eggs. As the nine have been saying for so long, all elements are utilized in the village where one horse-drawn cart takes over the other in an attempted variety. Elements used are earth, air, fire, water, and the fifth element of ether. Fairies, pixies, sprites, and gnomes of the godly goodness, you can assist in mitigation with your consciousness and your directed, focused attention, allowing your energy of love and sacred prayer to fall where it may. So I'm still recording there. So really the question is, can you talk about the orange flame dragon? Now I'm relating this to the dream, the grid work, the healing at Santa Monica. So, for many, many years, the dragon has given birth naturally to her eggs. So, when the dragon breathes her fire as she flies, that fire is a natural fire because she's given birth to her clutches of eggs naturally. But this situation in the novel that is related to the grid work I'm speaking about, um, the the dragonkind midwife assisted the egg laying with chemicals which bring on contractions. So, like in our reality, a woman can give birth naturally or she can be induced. And when she's induced, she will be given hormones and well, hormones actually, in different forms. That can be from a drip, and this speeds on the contractions, brings contractions on, and they are very different to organic natural contractions. So if you've had two babies, one was delivered naturally, the other by induction, you will be able to know the difference. And the ones that are induced are much more intense and almost feel chemically induced. So this was the situation with the fire-breathing dragon. So more intense dragon's breath, a faster flight for the dragon, and a much higher number of eggs. So the question really here is ultimately, is this a natural egg laying that the dragon experienced so that the dragon's breath is natural dragon's breath, or was this an induced egg laying with chemically enhanced dragon's breath? And it's the second with this situation. Elements then when they're saying here, where one horse-drawn cart takes over the other in attempted variety, so what we need to do when we're reading this particular part of the novel is to phrase it correctly. And what one would say is, where one horse-drawn cart takes over the other in an attempted variety. So those three words there, takes over, attempted. This is what is occurring in this situation. And the elements used in the entire village are earth, air, fire, water, and the fifth element of ether. And then fairies, pixies, sprites, and gnomes of the godly goodness, you can assist in mitigation with your consciousness, with your directed, focused attention, allowing your energy of love and sacred prayer to fall where it may. And that's the case with all of these three issues I'm going to discuss in the novel today, which is the element of fire, the element of air, and the golden banana signing and sealing and delivering of that contract, and the keys to the castle, and the ceremony that takes place, or the party, or the whole situation that takes place with that. So that's what I'd like to say about the fire. Let's go up to the air. So where are we? I've just made some notes here because I did actually put some posts on social media. Right. Right. So with the question about air in the novel, air can manifest, the element of air can manifest in different ways. Let's say mist, a secretive, mysterious mist, or sort of maybe a foggy situation. So really, when I asked the nine to comment on this, it's very, very similar to the dragon flying, but instead of the dragon's breath being fire, the dragon's breath is like a mist instead, like a smoke. And this creates like a misty, smoky, foggy situation rather than a fiery situation. But it's still the same. It's still a chemically assisted situation, but it's not quite so intense because air is more floaty, let's say. So what I was shown is to give to everyone who is listening to me talk about the novel and listening to my stories to speak again about a transmission that came in 4 months ago. So that transmission was Emerald Heart Green Tara Codex, Detoxification Calling for Starseeds, Dream Intel. That video was uploaded to my YouTube channel in September 2024, 4 months ago. So if you want to know not so much what the mist is, or I mean, the information is it's the same as the fire-breathing dragon. It's just a dragon that's breathing a mist, a mysterious mist or a smoky kind of fog rather than fire. So that's a mist dragon rather than a fire dragon. But the actual seed point to these dragons flying and the assisted birth for their clutches of eggs to be laid, which will affect what they breathe in the novel, it will affect their dragon's breath. That's the same. It's coming from the same system of midwives, which is an overlord midwife in the novel. So what this video is, this transmission came in 4 months ago, talking about the need for star seeds and awaken aware individuals to go through a higher form of detoxification, and also not a daily, but a regular regimen of detoxification. You can listen to that video, that transcript on my YouTube channel. Emerald Heart, Green Tara Codex, Detoxification Calling for Star Seeds, Dream Intel. But I have posted the transcript to that transmission, um, which is presented in the chapters of the novel. So this is a story time transcript to that original transmission. Now that's on my Buy Me a Coffee site. So that's Buy Me a Coffee Magenta Pixie, but it is free for public. You don't have to make a donation on there. You don't have to be a member. This is free for everyone to read. So you just have to go onto my Buy Me a Coffee site, Magenta Pixie, and click on. And the story is called Emerald Organelle Heart Matrix, Secret Myst and Sister Black Boxes 2025. If you click on there, rather than watching the video, you can just read the transcript, but it's in story form because obviously it's related to the dragons in this fantasy fiction novel. So really what we're presenting here is antidote to fire, as in mitigation, healing, the consciousness of the star seeds, antidote to the mist breathing dragon in the detoxification way, the method of detoxification. So these are healing antidotes in different ways, and there are different ways to utilize those healing antidotes. With the consciousness, if you work within the consciousness, this works within synchronicity. So when it comes to a fire-breathing dragon, you may be your property or your hut might be in the pathway of that fire-breathing dragon, but it may not be. When you're working with synchronicity, you're working with healing, bearing in mind that some individuals, some fae, have, if you will, I don't want to say chosen, but some Fae are going to be significant within the movement of what the fire-breathing dragons are all about. Therefore, they will have been in the pathway, but that's because they're called to stand up, and they are pivotal in the repeated antidotes, and the bringing to justice and the truth and the reveal. And it's the same with the mists, the fog, the mist-breathing dragon. Anyone affected or in the path of that mist-breathing dragon will, not anyone, but there are certain individuals that stand up to speak, and they have large wooden whistles which they blow, and make a little tune with their whistles. So everything is ordained uh, as it is, like a woven tapestry, as the entire ascension pathway and experience plays out as we move towards this singularity. So we're talking here about the fire-breathing dragon and the mist-breathing dragon. So the elements here are fire and air. Okay, I'm now going to move on to the Stormfire golden banana signing, sealing, and delivering of the contract and the keys to the castle. So I'm going back a few days, and I'm sure many psychic and intuitive, clairvoyant, sensitive individuals will be feeling something similar. A great feeling of trepidation, concern, something not being quite right. very much focused on the 20th of January 2025 and looking at the energy of the 20th of January 2025. It's an energy I have never seen before. Often I will see an energy spike, which clairvoyantly to me literally looks like a spike on a graph. You're looking at a graph and then a spike will go up. It's like a raise in emotion, a raise in frequency. But this one, instead of a graph going like this and then a short, thin spike, it's looking more like this. There's the graph, and then there's this jagged mound that goes like this. So it's almost like there's this extended energetic that isn't necessarily an energy spike, but emotionally it's almost like it's trying to be an energetic spike emotionally. It's trying to be a heart opening celebration of joy and happiness and bliss and euphoria. And in a natural reality, that is exactly what it would be. But in the village, there is a infiltration from the Overlord system. So what we've got here is the spike being pulled down and stretched out by multiple different things going on, coming in from the Overlord structure. So working with their consciousness, working with their technology, dark machinations, dark plots, dark magic, magicians stepping up. I mean, I can't look and see everything. I I am guided not to go into the remote view fully of that situation, but I can see the energetic. Now, this is a few days ago, which is large and almost like something pulling down the spike. So the higher energy, joy, bliss, euphoria, celebration is pulled down into this lower vibratory energy that's very large. So there's machinations and situations here. So I did speak to the nine. I did do some remote viewing on what this might be, and what I was seeing are multiple plots and machinations and multiple plans in place. And one of the larger plans, and it was being presented in various forms, was in the novel something very similar to an assy sassy across the nation. As I've spoken about before, there have already been assy sassy across the nations in the village. This seemed to be similar, but it was different. There was more than one of them in different areas, but one of them was coming from above. And recently, the Nine also spoke about the black spiders that were also part of air. So we have the mist breathing dragon, but we also have the black spiders flying in the air. And that's another way that the elements are utilized within the creative writing of this fantasy fiction novel. So the black spiders, they were different, but it seemed as though one of these plots and machinations was a black spider coming from above at the time of the golden banana signing, sealing, and delivering. Now, what I also saw were different sizes of these black spiders, very large ones, but there are some very, very small ones. They're so tiny that they could look like the size of a hummingbird, a different species of bird, or even an insect. And within these little tiny black spiders, they may look like different kinds of insects in the novel, maybe a bee, maybe a wasp, something like that, but slightly bigger. And they can carry some kind of liquid or solution. Bees sting and wasps sting. So these tiny, tiny black spiders have got that ability. And I was seeing that in there as well. Now, when I spoke to the nine after the remote view, what I was being told is this is the presentation of multiple different thought processes, ideas, and potential plans coming from the Overlord structure None of them were definite because there were all these sort of right, we could do A, let's get B, C, D, and E lined up. We could do A, we could do B. Maybe we'll go in a completely different way and do C. And what this does is it prevents individuals like myself and other psychic individuals from remote viewing any kind of definite plot and plan because there's multiple ones of them. But also, it's also to do with the chess game. So the overlords are waiting for the opposing player to make a move on the chessboard before they make their move. So it's kind of like chess. But what I was seeing was also a if you will, white-capped pixie maneuvers, also multiple, and that the chess game is kind of just sitting there in this big, which way are they going to move? Which way are they going to move? We've got these chess play moves in place. We've got these chess moves in place, and it's all sort of sitting there waiting for someone to make a move to play chess. And I think this is part of this big sort of energy spike, this big energy sort of mound or mountain rather than a spike. It's a very strange energy. So the nine was showing me these different levels. Now, with the white cap pixies, I wasn't being shown any move because obviously I wouldn't want to talk about the story before it's written, because you never know who's going to read the book. So that part of the story can't be written, it can't be spoken about, it can't be told verbally because it's got to sort of happen. But then on the morning of the 17th of January, which is 2 days ago, I dreamt, and I wrote this down on my social media on the morning of the 17th, as soon as I woke up. I dreamt last night that there was a shift in the golden banana ceremony. There was a change in the way it's done due to Mr. Secure Ritty. So Mr. Secure Ritty is a very good friend of Mrs. Millie Terry, and they're friends. So Mr. Secure Ritty is in the novel now as a character. In the dream, I felt a very high emotional feeling of concern and worry, and I did, and it was just constant. I mean, I don't know how long this dream went on for, but it was all this big muddle, like I was seeing this mountain instead of a spike, instead of bliss, joy, happiness, celebration, euphoria. It was worry and concern, and it was coming from those who love and support Stormfire. It was those who are aware, and this is what I wrote, realizing how crucial it is for this gnome to receive the keys to the White Castle. These are individuals aware of how crucial this is. And I'm not necessarily talking about truth aware or even spiritually aware. These are everyday fae who are fully aware of the absolute importance of this situation. It's not just crucial for the Americano domain, it is crucial for the entire village, and in ways I'm not yet sure about, I'm not yet fully aware of, it's crucial beyond the village. It's crucial in timelines. It's crucial in the metaphysical, not necessarily Stormfire himself, but the whole domino effect that comes from that. So crucial. So I'm feeling all this concern and all this worry. Now, this is what I wrote. This feeling is totally understandable. And it may also be because the psychic fae can sense when a dark griffin flies, sending its signal of plots and machinations through the airwaves. So what that is the Overlord plans. They're not just being sensed by me. I am fully aware that there are others. I have spoken to other psychic individuals who are also picking this up in different ways. And then I went on to say, we can collectively change the dark griffin's signal and call the golden dragon to take her flight. So the golden dragon, I'm not talking about the orange flame dragon, I'm talking about the golden dragon, which is the dragon for bliss and euphoria. When the golden dragon flies, The golden dragon is there for bliss, euphoria, joy, celebration, high vibration, open-hearted love, and the dark griffin holds the signal of fear and control. So I went on to say focus through thought, visualization, meditation, and prayer, surrounding Stormfire within a sacred hermetic seal of protection and safety, and hold the knowing that he will sign, seal, and be delivered of the golden banana trophy and the keys. This is what I wrote on social media on the 17th of January. And I felt this shift. I felt something is going to change. It's normally outdoors. Stormfire will be outdoors in the open air. Prior to this, I was actually feeling that there was some kind of white-capped pixie conversation where the discussion of moving this beautiful ceremony out of the outdoors and into indoors might be one of the options. And I did sense that Stormfire was not happy about this. He really did not want this. He was being quite stubborn. He was being told again and again, like, Sir Gnome, this, and this. We need to do something. We need to do something. We need to move you out of the open air and into indoors because of this, and this. And Stormfire, no, and being stubborn. And finally, and I do feel that the beautiful Lady Melanina had some part to play here. Stormfire's children, gnomes, and loved ones had a part to play here. And so you see, what Stormfire was thinking is, I want the Fae in the Americano to have what they deserve to have, which is to be part of this celebration. I want the Fae to be there. I don't want them to feel like they're getting something less than. And he really wanted that. And he was kind of putting his own connection with Mr. Secure Ritty as a secondary issue to his desire to bring the Americano Fae into the celebratory party and allow the golden dragon to fly with euphoria and bliss and happiness. So Stormfire was being a bit stubborn, thinking of the Americano Fae above his own self, which is how he is. This is his personality because he sees the Americano Fae as the future of the Americano domain. And he has a great respect and love for the Americano Fae. He doesn't want to let them down. And some of these, well, many of these Americano Fae had given golden coins and silver coins to buy golden tickets to be able to come to this celebratory party. And unfortunately, they may now have to witness the golden banana trophy and the keys to the castle being delivered to Stormfire via some kind of media or film or screening. So it isn't what Stormfire wanted, and he was being quite stubborn. And it wasn't until the Lady Melanina and the children spoke, and he then realized the greater picture here. If he places himself out in the open air where there are black metal spiders and tiny wasps and bees flying around that might sting him, or whatever else they might do, it's that is a greater risk to the Americano Fae than them losing their what they paid for with their golden coins and silver coins and having to witness a screening, a picture, a movie instead of the actual real Stormfire. He realized that, but at first he was stubborn. So then this whole dream came about, and I saw this shift, and I thought, you know what? I really feel as though it's going to be moved indoors. And I actually thought it'd be the last minute, maybe not until the morning of the 20th, that they'll do it. But amazingly, it was actually that day, it was a few hours later. So I'd posted about my dream, and then a few hours later, Stormfire himself announced that the ceremony in the novel would be moved to an indoor place instead of an outdoor place because of the cold weather. So the cold weather was a nice uh, a nice reason without having to present the knowing of the Overlord chess move. It's always good for the white-capped pixies to not present their awareness, but there was an awareness. There was some kind of information given. I don't know what. So after the announcement that Stormfire would go indoors, it's taken the level of the Mr. Security's work and the potential issues is taken it down by 90%, if not 95%, so that Mr. Security is now really tight and good. So when I say 90 to 95%, I still feel there's a little something, but it's all of these plots A, B, C, D are pretty much out the window because it isn't what was wanted. So there is more there is more chance of the golden dragon flying and bliss euphoria. But what I would add is what I said on social media, and I'm going to say that again now. And I'm asking every single soul who is watching this, listening to this story, to please, if you feel and know the importance, whether you love Stormfire or not, even if you don't think he's the greatest character in the novel, if you understand the importance of Stormfire, the importance of Stormfire getting the keys to the castle, and if you do love Stormfire, I mean, if you don't, I don't really know why you're listening to this story, but if you do love Stormfire and you do understand the importance, then I would ask you, and I'm sure many, many of you are already doing this, but I'm just adding to this because when we add to this, it creates such a huge energetic that it changes timelines. It's so powerful. So focus through thought. So what does that mean? Every time you have a slightly negative thought and think, oh, I'm really worried, I'm really concerned. What if a wasp does fly in through the window? And move that away. Be aware of that 5% issue. Don't just ignore it and become ungrounded. Be aware of this situation, but change it to a visualization of Stormfire. He's making the signatures on the contract. He is being given the golden banana. He's being given the keys to the castle. Everyone is smiling. It's happened. This is where you need to go. It's happened. It's happened. And I know this is where the work really begins. This is what I was told in a dream, months ago. This is where the work really starts. But the point is, that signature, that golden banana, those keys to the castle are so huge, I literally cannot tell you. Now, I'll continue with this before I say what I was going to say. Visualization. Get that visualization of those things, whatever it means to you. You can use metaphor. You can change any potential dark spiders, wasps, and bees to golden butterflies. You can visualize rain where there is fire. You can visualize anything that neutralizes. You can visualize whatever is meaningful to you. A diamond surrounding the the golden banana ceremony. Anything that is meaningful and that is in alignment with your knowing and your ability to create focused trajectories. Your pineal gland is so powerful. Your pineal gland isn't just a visual, it is a projector. When you hold focused thought, what you're holding here in the pineal gland, the image, is created. And if thousands of us, if millions of us, if billions of us are holding this same thought, that same flame letter with the same frequency, regardless of what the visual may be, There's no way that the Dark Overlords can counteract that. It is a, it's not just an antidote, it is an entire canopy. So you're having Mr. Security on the ground with those who are doing that role and are working with Mr. Secure, Mr. Ritty, and you have the energetic, you have the consciousness, and that's who we are. The Starseed team, we are Mr. Secure Ritty's team as well, but from the level of consciousness. So focus through thought and focus. Give it that charge so you know your pineal gland is holding something that is the crystalline plasma needed for manifestation and that it will happen. And hold the knowing in your heart that it's working. It's working. Focus through thought, visualization, meditation. Meditation is so powerful. Go into meditation and find that space. See what it is you want to see. And see the golden dragon. Hold the bliss and euphoria. And prayer is so powerful. So choose, and it can be all of them. You don't have to just pray or just meditate or just visualize. You do all of these. Surrounding Stormfire within a sacred hermetic seal of protection. Okay, and safety. Okay, so a sacred hermetic seal. The most powerful is the image of the toroidal field, the spiral, like a beehive surrounding Stormfire, which is interesting because the Overlords have got this bee-type mini dark metal spider, but the sacred bee, the true organic bee, creates the beehive, which is a seal for healing, safety, and all that is organic, all that is godly, goodly, and true. But if you don't want to go with the spiral, you can choose a golden pyramid, a blue pyramid. You can choose a diamond. You can choose a lilac, um, silken cloak. You can choose a bubble, an orb, or anything that is meaningful to you of a sacred hermetic seal of protection and safety. Or you can just imagine that you are taking paperwork. You hold a sacred seal. You are putting a seal down on the paperwork, sealing the envelope, the letter, and handing it to Stormfire. And in that letter, it says, I surround you with a hermetic seal. I give you the hermetic seal. I give you protection and safety. Hold the knowing in your visualization, whatever it may be. You're so powerful. Please don't think you can't do this because you absolutely can. And you are called to do this. It's so important to mitigate that final little bit, that moving from the outdoor party into the indoor party, that final reducing it right down by 90% or even 95%, that tiny, tiny little bit of risky business. Let's take that away so we have a 100% secure, insulated field. So hold the knowing that Stormfire will sign, seal, and be delivered of the golden banana and the keys. So this is what I am asking for individuals to do. I know that many of you have felt exactly what I'm feeling. You've had this sense, you're pleased about the movement. I realize there are some that may not be because they have given away golden coins and silver coins and they wanted to be there. But if they end up watching this, hopefully they will understand that Stormfire wanted that too. But it could not be. I mean, it simply could not be. And it's changed the timeline. Simply the move from the outdoor to the indoor with this big party, it's changed the timeline. So, yes, the other thing I wanted to say is when I about an energetic spike, which is kind of like a graph, and then a big spike, and this signifies a high energy point. It's often on solstices, equinoxes, full moons, eclipses. There's one of these on the 21st of January. I'm not quite sure why. Is this connected to the whole banana party, the keys to the castle, or is this more astrological, cosmic? I'm feeling it's potentially both. But so there is this. this sort of mound or mountain has been mitigated. It's much smoother now because since the move from the outdoor to the indoor, that is much smoother. It still holds the similar shape, um, but it's much smoother and it has the potential to raise. But it isn't an energetic spike like a solstice or a equinox or an eclipse. But that comes on the 21st of January. So we have the 20th, we have this large, powerful, emotional configuration of energy that has shifted since the 17th, since the change for outdoor to indoor. And then there's this energetic spike on the 21st, which I'm not sure what that is, other than there is the golden dragon flying. There is this high euphoric energy, but it does seem galactic and cosmic and quite feminine as well. There's a very divine feminine energetic with it, a goddess energetic. So these are the main storylines that I wanted to talk about within the novel today. I wanted to talk about the element of fire with the fire, the orange flame dragon flying, and the antidote. I wanted to talk about the element of air, which is the mist dragon, who produces a very foggy, mysterious mist. And then the element of air also holds these black spiders and their little mini insecty type of spiders as well. So that's fire and air. But we also have ether, which is the starseed consciousness, the ability to transmute this type of fire into charge, into an electromagnetic frequency that assists the Kundalini rays and the pineal gland's ability to broadcast an image and manifest that. And with the air, we can look at oxygen, breathing, a higher a higher freedom that moves into liberty. We can transmute these with our consciousness and take our places, and then we are standing as guidance, and we are standing as grid workers, healers, and those who catalyze that hermetic seal for Stormfire and for all those around him. So they're the three stories: the fire dragon, the mist dragon, and the beautiful ceremony. So when I say ceremony, the Overlord machinations and plans was more of a creation of some kind of ritual that would be witnessed by many. That's been taken down, the probability of that's been taken down to around 95% because it won't be the same, it won't have the same impact. So it's there's a major withdrawing from that now. Instead, and this is the consciousness of the star seeds and what they have already done, what I'm saying to you is really for those who haven't thought about this. But I know that many of you listening now have already done this and you're already doing this now. And that's to create not a dark ritual, but a higher light ceremony of euphoria and bliss, happiness and joy. And you can get there by holding those emotions now, by going through your visualization and imagining that Stormfire, it's done. You are witnessing Stormfire signing, sealing, and being delivered of the golden banana and the keys to the White Castle. And it's done. It's done. How do you feel? Take yourself away from the, oh no, what about this? What about that? To feed into the darker ritual and move into the ceremony. It's done. It is done. So it is. So mote it be. Make these claims. Your pineal gland understands all of this. Your pineal gland understands the visuals and the words because your pineal gland understands language as well. It's an ear as well as an eye. So it's done. Feel the joy, feel the euphoria. Understand that it's the beginning of a whole new work schedule and things need to be done, but it's done. This is so crucial, so important, and it's done. And you hold the knowing that it has happened. So that's today's story. And I really hope that this is assisting you in any charge you might need or giving you the catalyst to find that, to hold that. Because if we do this together at a consciousness level, then we have created that hermetic seal and we've taken our place. This is what we incarnated for, to do these things when we are called to do these things. So, thank you so much for listening to Story Time today. And I'm sending you all lots and lots of love. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. I will be, myself and Cat's Magic, we will be watching and sending our energy to this wonderful party and this fantastic ceremony. Sending lots of love. Have a lovely day tomorrow and the next day, whatever that may be. Sending love. Bye.